Hi, my name's Brad Phillips. I'm here with Puppy Steps Training, and we're going to be doing Otto's demonstration today. We're very excited to send him to you. He's just been a wonderful dog. He's been my favorite that we've trained in quite a while. Just a real sweetheart. We're going to go through his whole demonstration. We'll go through all 5 phases, starting with socialization. Then we'll go into his manners, his obedience commands, his house training, and leash training. Now, before we do that, just a couple things that I do like to remind everyone that I sell a dog to, or that I train a dog for, just that they are a puppy. And so there's still going to be some maturing, there's going to be some time that he needs to transition into your home. So just be patient with him, and a couple things to remember with any type of training, but consistency is a key, and always ending on a correct behavior. So even if he might be struggling one day and you're trying to lengthen some stays, and he just keeps breaking, then I would bear it back, make it a little bit shorter, and end on that correct behavior. And those days are going to happen. He's going to hit a teenage phase, and so just always be positive and make sure that you're making progress and not pushing him back. And a couple other things that I like to remind everyone just with our program is the word okay. So okay is our marker. It marks the correct behavior and releases from a stay, as well as our correction term, which is no or nope. Those I treat like a misdemeanor felony. If he does something wrong, no matter what, he's going to get some form of correction. Just it depends on how severe the behavior was, on how severe the correction is going to be. So if he does something simple like breaks a stay, I'll tell him no and I'll have him do it again. Whereas if he jumps on me or tries to steal food, then I'm going to be a lot more firm in my manner of correction. And so I do that by adjusting my voice fluctuation and my body language. Those 2 variables are what a dog reads more than any type of physical dominance you can give them. So with that, we'll talk about socialization for just a minute, and then we'll let him out. And socialization is the biggest thing to me. That's what we do is the first 2 weeks that we have them, that's all we focus on. They spend time with the family here locally that takes them to the farm, takes them out, gets them around different animals, different people, places, sounds, textures, just as many new situations that we can, but we make sure we do it in a controlled environment. This way we're going to make sure that we protect against having any anxiety problems, timidness, or aggression, and we can really focus on those behaviors. Along with that, we also do that focus on socialization through the training program, making sure we're doing commands on different surfaces, both in here, on the bed, on the hardwood floor, out on the road, just variable, adding in all these different variables to make sure that we're helping the dog be a well-rounded and a good-mannered dog. So with that, we will talk about his manners now, and we'll let him. So with our manners, we're going to start with our gates and our doorways. So anytime Otto comes out of the crate, or he goes through the door, anything like that, I expect him to hold a stay. Now, it should be an automatic behavior. I shouldn't have to ask him. He should just do it. And so I'm going to let him out. You can see that. Okay, good boy. And I'll show you the house door a little bit later when we go outside. But yeah, anytime he comes out of the crate or goes through your door, expect him to hold that stay. If he's really persistent on breaking, then I might block him, shut the door. Or if he's really persistent on coming out, then I might actually ask him to stay. So the second manner would be his greeting. So anytime he approaches me, come here, Otto. I expect him to sit, come here, before I give him any attention. And so this does a couple things for me. It gets him so he's not trying to jump on me, he's not wrapping me up with a leash, but most importantly, you get his eye contact. Because with a dog, whatever they're looking at, that's what they're thinking about. So if you have that eye contact, you know that he's focused on you and ready for a next command. Oh, good boy. So next would be his meal, and I'm just going to give him a little bit of food right now. We already fed him this morning. But anytime I feed him, I expect him to hold a stay. And so he's already sitting, I'll just tell him, stay. Now, his mealtime's a great time to really work on those stays. We add what we call the 3 Ds: distance, duration, and distraction. Adding those three things build a solid stay. So talking is a great distraction. Of course, duration, adding more time and distance, we can distance ourselves from him. The food bowl, just adding these distractions are great. They really build a solid stay. Okay, good boy. Now also we like to spend some time just putting our hands down in this food bowl, taking it away, giving it back, things like that to make sure we don't have any type of food aggression. But we haven't had any issue with that. Other types of aggression that we work on, we want to make sure that he's not aggressive over food, toys, treats, anything like that. So anytime he has one, I like to make sure that I'm handling him, making sure that I'm taking the toy or the treat from him, or making sure that he's not going to be aggressive towards me. Now we also make sure that he's not aggressive towards any part of his body, and so that includes handling his ears, his paws, his tail, anything that could be sensitive to him. We want to make sure that he's not going to be aggressive when handled. Now the one time that aggression is mistaked is generally with children. I mean, kids are the greatest thing for a puppy. They run, they squeal, make things a lot of fun, and your dog just wants to go and play with them, and so they end up grabbing a pant leg or an arm, and we don't want that to happen. So we just recommend that anytime children are playing with them, let them have like a toy, something that they can throw if they get nervous when he gets too close, or he has something to grab onto. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. A couple other things that we've worked on. Jumping has been huge. Of course, jumping is a big problem with most puppies, but that's probably my biggest pet peeve is when a dog jumps on me. And so we work on that a lot. And we've established the command off, and that's whether he tries to jump on me or he jumps up on your couch or a chair, anything like that. Tell him off and expect him to get down. Now, if he's having a really hard time with jumping, then I like to put a leash on him and kind of tempt him, get him to jump, then give him just a leash correction, which a leash correction, you're not trying to pull him off or jerk him, it's just kind of 2 pops on the leash, making it known, along with no or off or whichever you'd like. Usually, jumping occurs with kids or someone that your dog thinks that they're above in the packing or in the pack order. And so that's generally who you have to watch out for. Now, a couple things with that. It's important that if you feel like he's going to come and jump on you, that you never step backwards. As soon as you step backwards, you're encouraging that jump. So I'll always step into the jump. And if it comes to it that he still gets up, because what you're doing there is restricting the space, if he still jumps, I'll just bring my knee and block him, and just preventing him from actually getting on me, as well as a lot of times we'll put him on their back, and that's a quick way to a dog to show leadership within a pack. So, but he's done really well. He's just a sweet dog, very well mannered, so we've worked a lot with that. Another one of the manners that of course is a big problem with puppies is chewing. And so chewing we train on a base of avoiding and replacing. Of course, if you can avoid giving him free access to toys, to shoes, to things that he wants to chew on, of course that's going to be your best motive in preventing an accident from happening. However, that's not possible in your home. There's always something that he can chew on, whether it's a table leg or the corner of a couch or his bed, something that he has access to. And so that's generally going to manifest itself in the first 2 weeks that you have him. During that time he's transitioning, and you need to help him understand what's yours and what's his. And so if he goes up and he starts chewing on like a table leg, something hard, I'm going to match the texture. So I'll give him something like a bully stick, something hard that he can really get after. Whereas if he goes up to his bed or a pillow and he starts chewing, I'm going to replace it with something soft, once again like a toy, something that he can really dig his teeth into. Now, with chewing, of course, boredom is the #1 time that accidents happen. That can be both whether he's bored, like you're watching a movie or reading a book, and he just is laying on his bed, then he might go and find something to chew on. And so during that time, I'll just give him like a bully stick, something to chew on there. Also bored him with his own toys. That's why anytime he finishes, he gets up, leaves the toy, I'm going to immediately take it away. That way it's not lying around, and that drive or that excitement towards that toy is still there because he doesn't just have free access to it. When he has free access to all his toys, he's going to get bored with them and go seek out something new to chew on. So, the next two manners deal with his mouth. One would be drop it. So where he's playing with this, we'll just ask him to drop it. Good boy. And we'll get him to pick it up again. Come here. And I'll just take it, drop it. Good boy. Now when I'm asking him to drop it, a lot of times we're playing, and so the reward there is getting the toy back. But I want him to physically release the toy. Drop it. Good boy. Now if he doesn't, come here, and it's something long enough, I'll take it on both sides, and I'm just going to hold it really still so that it becomes unappealing. And if he still continues, we'll see if I can get him to grab on, then I might just twist my knuckles in, and you're just going to pinch his lips a little bit against his canines. But for the most part, I mean, he has done really well with dropping it. Hasn't tried to fight me with it. Drop it. Good boy. The one thing you do have to pay attention for is those sharp puppy teeth getting caught in something soft. That's why you never want to pull it, because you can end up just hurting him more than anything. Oh, buddy. Good boy. Now, the last one is gently. And so that's just teaching him to be aware of his teeth. And so I'll just, anytime I present a treat, if I can tell he's excited, I'll tell him gently before anything else. Also, I'll always present the treat in the palm of my hand. But if I ask him, or tell him gently, I expect him to be very cautious when taking the treat. That way he's not going to grab my fingers, he's not going to get excited and bite me, but he can carefully take it with his lips and his teeth. Or I mean his tongue. That's it with our manners, so now we'll move into his obedience. So with his commands, we're going to start with talking about watch me and come, and then we're going to move into sit, stay, down, stay, crate, and go to bed. So, watch me is a command that really takes place of his name. So we don't use his name when training, so you can change it if you'd like. But watch me, all it does is get his eye contact. And so if we can distract him, maybe, we'll just get him to look away from, he's just focused right now. Watch me. Okay, good boy. Just getting him to look up, that's what I want, just that eye contact. And that can be a command that can be useful if you're in the kitchen cooking, you drop something on the floor you don't want him to get. Or it could be as simple or as elaborate as you're out in the yard and he's running into traffic, you just need him to stop and look at you. And so all I'm looking there is his eye contact. Watch me. Okay, good boy. Good boy. The second command, well, would be come. Both of these are the most basic commands that we teach. So I'm going to try and gain some distance here between them. But we teach them from day one. And so, come. Good boy. It's as simple as I just want him to come to me. And come is the number one command that everybody kills first off. And that's because when you call your dog to come, it's usually when it's time to come inside or you're ending something that they want to be doing. And so quickly they'll build a negative association with the word. They know that they called me to come, I'm supposed to end whatever I'm having fun doing. And so I try and keep a rule of 10 to 1, making sure that I call him to me 10 times for no reason other than to give him some type of reward for every one time I have to call him to come. As well as if I'm in the house, I don't use it. I'll use things like, come here. You know, just anything to get his attention and get him to come over to me. Now, the next three commands have hand signals. And so the first is sit, which is just a scoop over the nose. Down, I'll just take my hand flat and I'll go down, and then stay as a stop sign. So where he's already sitting, I'll just show you his down as well as his down stay. So I'll just tell him down, stay. Now he really does have some great stays, but I'm never to the point where I'm satisfied. I want to make sure that we're always progressing. And so adding those 3Ds, lengthening them, making sure that he's always improving. Okay, good boy, good boy. Now we're right here, we'll turn him around and do a sit, stay. Sit, stay. Okay, good boy, good boy. Now he can go a lot longer than what we just did. Just for time's sake, I shortened him a little bit. Our standard is 20 seconds, but I think he's almost up to a minute now, and which is a breaking point for a lot of dogs, because then you can just get right into those really long stays. So the next two commands don't necessarily have hand signals, but I always put myself in a position where he can read my body language. And so, for instance, come here. We'll get him up first. Come here. And I'll tell him, go to bed. I don't care what position he's in, as long as all four paws are on his bed. He's also expected to stay until released when put there. Okay, good boy. And that's the same thing with Crate. As I'll tell him, Crate. Now, Crate, I do always give him the treat when he first goes in, because a lot of times you're going to be shutting the crate door and he's going to be taking a nap. So the reward for going in is when he goes in. Also, with the crate command, I like to keep that same rule of 10 to 1, making sure that I'm not just using that command when he's going to be locked up, because once again he'll build that negative association and he will no longer want to go in the crate. So I'll do it multiple times for when I'm going to hook him up. Okay, good boy, good boy. Yeah. So that's it with our obedience commands. Now we'll talk about his house training and his leash. So with his crate training, we've spent a lot of time making sure that he's very comfortable in his crate. And right now he can go through the night at least 8 hours without needing a break. So we put him to bed around 10 and get him out right around 6:30 or 7. And we feed him after we get him out. I also feed them around 6 o'clock in the evening to make sure they get 4 hours before they go, to clear out their system before they go in the crate. Now we also expect them to be good in the crate for 4-hour blocks during the day. So if you need to run errands or run out, he can go in his crate and be just fine. Now with that being said, the transition always causes them to get a loose stool or to go to the bathroom a little bit more frequently. So if the first couple nights he starts whining in the crate, I might just let him have a break, take him out to the bathroom, then put him right back away. Make sure that he doesn't play or get any just free access when being released from the crate if he's whining, just so he doesn't start to whine thinking he can get out. Now, also I would use the crate as your asset. Like I said, he can do those 4-hour blocks, and leading into the house training, it's critical that you give him 100% supervision in your house for the next at least month or until you're comfortable with him. And so if you can't give him that supervision, use the crate to your advantage, put him in there. And that's probably the biggest thing with the house training. I can't stress enough why he's getting used to your house. You don't want him to get lost, get locked in a room, or have an accident. And so 100% supervision. Also have him drag a leash around for the first couple weeks in case that you do need to grab him and run him out quickly. If I were to ever catch him having an accident in the house, I would want to make a negative association. So I'd stomp, I'd clap, no, 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 grab him and rush him out. And that's probably his biggest kind of quirk. Every dog has them. Sometimes he gets too focused when you're working with him, or if he's playing, that he forgets he needs to go to the bathroom. And so there's been a couple times where he's been running over to the door mid-training and he's peeing while he's going, just trying to get there. So if he hasn't gone for a while, I would watch that as well. Just one of his little quirks. But he's been great consistently ringing the bell and not having accidents in the house. So at this point, I'm going to teach you how to transition the bell into your home. And this is kind of the part of the program that's going to be most involved for you, because all his manners and his commands should just slide over. However, in your home, you're going to have to teach him where the bell is and that it means the same thing that it does here. And so when you're ready to transition the bell, what I do is I'll start by just targeting the bell. I want to get him very excited about ringing it. And so I'll have him, come here. He's getting a little tired, just wants to lay down now, huh? Come here. Good boy. So what I'll do is I'll have him sit and I'll just hold the bell in front of him and have him actively, okay, seek it out. Every time he touches it, I'll say, okay, good boy, and give him a reward. If he's a little bit sluggish getting to it, I might drag it around, do something to get him excited about it. But get him consistently ringing the bell in your hand. And what I'll do is I'll just stare at the bell. Okay, good boy. Once he's doing that really consistently, then I'll bring it over to the door and have him touch it. Okay. And I'll start switching the word, okay, to outside. Okay, outside. Good boy, outside. Really emphasizing that word. Okay, outside, because outside is our marker word. Okay, outside, for going to the bathroom. So then, okay, outside. Once he's doing that really consistently, just like that, then I'm going to take him out. Okay, let's go outside, outside. And from which point I'll take him out every time. Okay. Okay, good boy. So from that point, every time that he touches the bell, I'll take him outside. As well as after I do that, he's really consistently hitting the bell, I'll set a timer for 30 minutes. And every 30 minutes I'll take him over, I'll just stand next to the bell, stare at it, let him ring it, and you can even let him ring it 2 or 3 times real quick right there. Okay, outside. Give him a reward. Go out. When I go outside, I take him to one spot where I want him to go, and I'll stand there. I won't give him any eye contact. If he tries to sit, then I might move a little bit, but I'll give him maybe a minute or two to go to the bathroom. Once he goes, I want to make it very positive. So, good outside, good boy, give him lots of love, pet him, and then come right back inside. It's critical that every time he touches the bell and you go outside, you give him maybe that minute or 2, and then you come right back in. There's no time to play, no time to chase leaves. It's out to do business, right back in. Otherwise, he'll start ringing the bell just because he wants to go outside and play. But I would keep that timer, take him out every 30 minutes for the next 2 days, and then start to build that back up to 45 minutes to an hour. Right now, our standard is 2 hours without needing a break. However, I sat in the house with him for 4 hours the other day before he went and rang the bell. So I know he can go longer, but I would just slowly work that up. But also just a couple things to note. If you have a large house, it might be useful to block off a portion just so he's not going to have the opportunity to get out of your sight and have an accident. Also, just pay attention to the cues. If he's been sleeping, he gets up, generally he's going to have to go to the bathroom. If he starts sniffing really heavily, I would take him over to the bell, as well as soon as he comes out of the crate. I would also watch, an hour after he eats. Also with him is he'll just swallow lots of water. He loves water, and so I might also limit his water to a couple times a day just so he's not having to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes, So, but if you do have any questions with the house training, don't hesitate to give me a call. I want to make sure that it's an easy transition for you. But he's done really well, and I don't think you'll have any issues. But with that, we'll move into our leash training. So with our leash training, we take him on 2 types of walks. The first is an off-leash walk, and that's where we'll take him into the mountains or we'll go down to the river, and that walk is just for him to be a dog. I'm going to let him off-leash, but I would keep him on a long lead until you feel confident he's going to perform to your recall. And so when I go on that walk, I do take just a handful of treats, and so every minute or 2, I'll call him back, give him that come command, give him a reward, let him go again. That way he's keeping close, as well as you're really working on that recall command. Along with our off-leash walks, we also like to take him on outings just to be around people, and so we've taken him to stores, taking him up to the college campus, getting him around people, making sure that he's going to behave, and he's done really well. So the second type of walk is our attention walk, and so that's a basic heel. I expect him to the side of me, keeping his attention for the most part on me. When we go on that walk, I have two commands: let's go, just signifying we're moving, and easy if he starts to pull. Now, if I have to give him the easy command, I'll also give him a leash correction at that same time. I'll tell him easy, expect him to put that slack back in the leash. If he sees something like a distraction that he's just real adamant on getting to, I tell my trainers you have to become a tree. You can't let him pull through. So in that case, if he tries to pull, I'll give him that leash correction. If he doesn't immediately put his attention back on me, I'm going to say let's go, and I'll turn around and walk the other direction and get his attention and his focus back. And then once he's regained his composure, I'll turn around and walk back towards the distraction, and I'll kind of ease him up, making sure that he's going to keep his focus on me. And so with that, we'll walk outside and I'll show you that walk. So before I start, I do like to have him sit and just kind of get his composure, get his focus. And so then I'll just tell him, let's go. Good boy. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Sit. Good boy. So that's exactly what I want. I want his focus to be on me. I want him walking next to me, keeping his attention up, as well as a loose leash. Now when we first teach this walk, we do treat him, give him some type of reward every time they look up. Now he's to the point where we're weaning him off of that, and so I'll give him a reward every so often. But also just with that, our rewards consist of not only food, but also compassion and toys. And he does have a very high drive for toys. Loves to play fetch. Easy. And but we've really enjoyed Otto. He's been just a wonderful dog. I think you'll really be happy with him. But we thank you for your business and allowing us to train him.